we're in an amazing time right now where the world's waking up. Individually, we're all waking up in our own way, and we're starting to say, the old ways aren't working for me anymore. My intention with this video today is to allow you the opportunity to have a change of heart, meaning you're going to feel differently about things. And the way that you feel is what you're going to experience in life, because your emotions are your strongest form of energy. And where those go, that's where your life force flows, and that's what you're going to get. We're going to dive into all of that. But for now, let's talk about the heart. I'm going to start with a quote, Proverbs 27:19. As the water reflects the face, so the heart of man reflects the man. Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for all things flow from it. Matthew 6:20. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So why is a book that is considered one of the most powerful texts of human civilization, why is something like that talking about the heart so much? Why is a man who is regarded as one of the most powerful ascended masters to ever walk the planet, who left a massive impact on the shape of humanity, why was he considered the master of the heart? Clearly, this is a very important thing. So let's get into the heart, or the hat, as my Boston friends would say. When I was growing up, I was known for having heart-to-heart conversations with people when I was in high school and in college. And I never really understood why I was considered that way, or like why people would say that about me. And now in my adult life, I got it. It's because I always wanted to have conversations with people where I was feeling stuff. I was feeling their heart. I was feeling emotion from them, whether it was passion, whether it was pain, whether it was joy, whatever. I wanted to feel stuff. Shallow, surface level things didn't interest me. So I always wanted to get to the heart of the matter. My intention with this video today is for you to have a change of heart, because if you're able to have a change of heart and you're able to feel differently about yourself, about your life, about everything in a different way, you're going to change it all. That's the only way that you can do it. You have to change how you feel about things. And usually that's tied to perspectives and belief systems, right? So the point of this video is we're going to get into the heart of the matter. So I'm here with this video to give you the opportunity to have a change of heart. I'm going to share with you principles that, if you take to heart, are going to absolutely change your life. These are the things that we got to know to be in our power, and what will allow us to truly start to have mastery over our lives. The heart is the crown jewel. Okay, it's the center of desire. It's the center of feeling. It's where our sense of purpose comes from. It's where our motivations come from, why we do the things that we do. We are emotional beings, and we make choices from the place of the emotions. The heart is the seat of the emotions. Okay, how you feel about things in your life and about yourself and about everything, it matters. And I'm going to tell you why. Because your heart emanates an electromagnetic field that is very powerful. And the latest science will tell you that all of us have a bioelectromagnetic field. What is that? Which, by the way, is a nice Western way of saying aura. The people in the East have these things simplified, but we like to put fancy names on stuff. So that biometric field is a field of information. And so what information is being broadcasted into that field, what makes that field, is what the heart sends out. And so these electromagnetic waves that get sent out based on our feeling are waves of information that are either coherent or incoherent. Now, if you look around and if you look at yourself, because this is a video to help you with you, where is your feeling going towards during the day? Are you stressed? Are you frustrated? Are you unhappy? Are you in a negative place? Are you judgmental? Are you chaotic and anxious or depressed, your heart is sending incoherent waves, broadcasting that information into your field, and then your field is carrying that into the quantum field, which connects everything in reality, and it's bringing things back to you based on that. You can look at it as it's your field, your informational field, your biometric field is your search bar for the algorithm of reality. It's always reading and scanning the way that you feel, and it's reading your field of information. Now, we were never taught this. This is not something that you're going to get in school, right? This is so powerful, but something, it's just crazy like that. There's not a manual for any of this stuff, right? So this is why I'm sharing it. Because if you can know this, this is the way that you come back into your power. This is how you create true lasting change in your life. You have to understand the mechanics of these things. Your attitude towards yourself, towards life, what you perceive to be God in the universe, it matters. If you think negatively about yourself, if you doubt yourself, if you degrade yourself constantly throughout the day, that's what your heart broadcasts out into the field. And you will simply get more experiences of that reflected back to you. Not only that, and this will be for another video, but on the mental side of things, your selective focus or your reticular activation system will scan the environment and look for evidence of that story, right? So everything truly is coming out of the heart. And that's why I said those quotes at the beginning of the video, because from the heart arise all issues of life. You have got to know where your emotions are going. What is emotionally pulling you or hooking you? It is so easy for us to feel negative emotions, right? That's kind of our inherent default, our baseline in this culture. That's what we grew up around. That's what we saw. That was the model of things for us. And we were never really taught to be able to intentionally generate these positive emotions, these coherent waves of information, so we can start to recreate our field so that it's not the old story. Again, the quantum field, life, the universe, the algorithm, it doesn't give a shit what you want. It simply reads your frequency, your biometric field, your aura, and what's in there, what information is in there. And so you've got to know this if you want to change things. You got to be sending out coherent waves of information reflective of peace, order, kindness, love, relaxation, trust, acceptance, all the fruits of the Spirit, right? Respect for you, love and encouragement for you, because you are the source and everything that comes out of you comes back. This is a big responsibility to take on that a lot of us turn away from because we have to use a lot of energy to do this, especially at first, before it starts to become just naturally who we are, as we did with the negative baseline stuff that we have for the most part, right? We're creating a new baseline here. And so when you move up the scale of consciousness, of awareness, there's a cost to it. You've got to pay attention in much greater ways. You can no longer let your attention just go willy-nilly. You can no longer just let your emotions just fling all over the place. No, you understand now, okay, yeah, the way that I feel is creating my informational field, which is then bringing back to me things that either I want or I don't want. If you want to have a sense of living life intentionally by your design and allowing your desires to be experienced by you, you got to know this stuff. I used to do a gratitude journal and affirmations and things like that. And I remember thinking something's off with this. And I realized I was writing things down that I was grateful for, and I was saying these affirmations, but they didn't have an emotional charge to them. So they carried no weight. Like a thought without the charge, the emotional charge is it's like a little spark that just hits the ground and nothing happens. But when you have a thought or an intention that has emotion behind it, that has passion, that has excitement, that has joy, fucking rocket ship, guys. So I'm saying these empty things and I'm not feeling it. And it feels like a chore. And it's like, all right, well, is this going to help me get what I want? I didn't realize that when people mention the utility, it's so important to know why we do things, right? When the why is known, that's when the emotion can start to get behind it. Oh yeah, I get why I'm doing this. Oh yeah, I get that through this gratitude journal, I'm priming myself, I'm changing my state, I'm feeling the emotions of gratitude. And that opens the heart. And I'm teaching myself to be in this elevated state. I'm creating and being the source of gratitude. I'm not just doing this chore, which doesn't do shit for me. But when the presence and the feeling of gratitude is there, you're getting somewhere. You're starting to teach yourself that you can create these emotions inside of you. And you don't have to wait for something out there to do it for you. Right? How powerful is that? When you start to really get this, that it's all you. You are the source playing your game. But for most of us, again, we didn't know the rules of the game. We didn't know that the way that we feel about stuff and the impact that that actually has. Look at your family or just look at your relationships in general. And I want you to think where it is that you get emotionally hooked, or you could call this a trigger. This is why things like shadow work to me are so important, because when you can recognize where your emotions are getting pulled, where you're being brought to a negative emotional place of any kind, you've got to look at that. You've got to look at that and stop feeding it. Because there's all sorts of temptations that want to pull your divine life force energy and attention to it. It wants to feed off your emotional energy because that's how it sustains itself. Because make no mistake about it, our belief systems that we've given that energy to for a long time, they are living entities within our consciousness, within our reality. And they stay alive through our emotional hooks. That life force is feeding them. So when you withdraw that, that is taking your power back. That is knowing who you are, and that is becoming the master of the heart as Yeshua was, right? The story of Jesus walking on water. Did he do that actually? I'm sure an ascended master could easily walk on water because he has command over the elements. Consciousness governs matter. Not a problem. To the small linear human brain, that might seem like something impossible, but for someone operating at a way higher consciousness that is able to govern matter, even though that's just pretty much empty space, waves of information, not a big deal, right? But it's our collective belief systems that would look at that and be like, that's impossible. But is it? Anyways, I bring up that story, it's because metaphorically, Jesus was able to walk above the waters. The waters represent emotions. For most of us, emotions pull us down into the waters, right? Like when Peter went out to greet Jesus in the water, when he invited him out, he could do it at first, but then he looked down and he sank because he doubted. And the energy of doubt was now coming out of his heart. He was no longer in that place of trust and knowingness and conviction. He doubted and he lost his power and sunk right in there, right? This is so powerful because we have been in emotional bondage for pretty much our entire lives. And now we're learning to wake up. The emotional bondage combined with the mental prison, it's got people so depressed. It's got people living as fucking shells of themselves, terrified. Their emotions just getting pulled all over the place, their thoughts, their mind getting pulled all over the place. That is hell, right? You're ruminating in guilt and shame. You're regretting your past. You're not accepting where you are. That is hell, my friends. And another quote that they say in the Bible is, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven," which means bring your awareness to heaven, which is that everything is perfect, everything is well. You're in the kingdom of heaven now. The blessings have all been poured out, and it's on you to bring your awareness to it, come into alignment with it. And you settle the heart. You bring the heart to a coherent place of peace so that it's sending out nice, coherent waves of information. I'm safe. I trust. I love myself. Thank you, life. Thank you for this breath. Amazing, wonderful things are coming for me in my life. Beautiful opportunities are showing up every day, and you're feeling it. And you are now taking control and responsibility over your informational field. So you have got to take an audit of where your emotions are going during the day. And now I'm going to get into another big part of this video. Your emotional charge is your worship. Now, this has to be spoken to because many of us have religious trauma. Many of us were taught about what God was, about how to pray, or we had to go through some priest to speak to God. And everything just got so distorted. This beautiful sacred thing that was supposed to be the biggest part of our life journey, right? That connection to source was distorted and twisted. And God became this personified man in the sky who judges you. But really, you are life itself, and your heart, this is why you can't ever escape life, because it's always reading your heart, your emotional charge, your field. It's always scanning and reading that information. You can't bullshit it. You can't lie to it, right? So if you're unaware of this, like as I was for a long time, and many of us are, you're going to get very inconsistent results. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to have good and bad days. Not to say that sometimes we're human. You're going to have off times. But what I'm here to say is that, and I can tell you this because I was a very, very negatively oriented human being. I was always thinking of the worst case scenario. I always felt bad about myself. I was in the resonance of like gossip and drama, and I felt very sad about my life. And I'm like, this is not it, but I don't know what to do about it. Guys, I'm giving you the keys here. After 12 years of so much digging and seeking and researching and going through so many of the ancient texts and the wisdom and learning from the greatest teachers, to then distilling it in the way that it occurred to me and how it made sense to me. That's why I do this channel. It's so that you can feel me, the words that I'm sharing. I went from a very negative place and living a life that was not mine into being somebody who is very much in appreciation with life and has love for himself. And I literally have experiences now where when my mind starts trying to go somewhere, because the heart will tend to go with that, it's like, no, we don't do that anymore. That doesn't make sense. Why would I want to put that in my emotional field? Now, I'm not bypassing things. Like if there's grief to be had, you got to do it. You don't repress stuff. It's just that you don't stay there. You don't ruminate in things any longer. You don't attack yourself. Because when you're sending out coherent waves from your heart, from a place of peace, you have order. You have peacefulness. You have kindness towards yourself. When you're anxious and stressed all day, you start attacking yourself. You do things that make no sense. You think about things that deplete your energy. You give your emotions to things that deplete you and that hurt you. And that's just silly. And I don't play that game anymore most of the time. This is also the journey of consciousness going from a place of survival to the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. This is also why Jesus was considered the master of the heart, because he was a representation of a consciousness where when you reach the heart, you're in that place of unification, of oneness. There's no more separation when your awareness hits that place. Everything is one. And I mean, even science can tell us that. Everything's made up of atoms. Everything's photons of light. We're all made of the same substance. And therefore, we are all one. We are all connected. But when you land in that center place, right? This is the center between the animal nature of the lower chakras, energy systems, right? This is what you could call the little me portion, the human portion of you. And then that meets at the center with the celestial energies, your higher nature, the higher mind. They meet in the heart. So if the heart and the mind are congruent and they're working together, and the mind is no longer sending the thoughts that disturb the heart, and there's this harmony that's taking place, your life is going to be completely different. Now, if you've been sending out particular waves of information for a while, your field is crystallized in a somewhat dense way. But the good news is, right now, today, after watching this video, get excited. Get excited because you having this information is going to allow you to change it all. It's going to allow you to guard your heart, meaning not close it, right? A lot of people close it when they have painful experiences, as I did. I didn't allow myself to have a romantic partner for 11 years because I was so hurt by the first one. Closed my heart off. And now I'm in this place where I know for the rest of my life, I'm doing this thing with my heart open. And I'm proud of myself to open up to love. To keep my heart open in the face of anything that happens out here. Any hurt, any pain, I keep my heart open through all of it. And that's my commitment for this journey. I'm someone that wants to live from the heart and have it be open. And be willing to be vulnerable. And yes, you can be hurt from there, but it's okay. I'm more excited about and proud of myself at the soul level for no matter what, in the face of anything, this heart stays open. The compassion is there and truth can flow. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I had an experience recently because obviously family and our intimate relationships are where the strongest triggers are formed inside of us. And we can go unconscious really quick with those. We can get very easily pulled very quickly down into the waves of reactivity and having our emotions get pulled in the very familiar ways that we're used to, going all the way back to childhood. When you recognize what's happening, you start to notice it, right? You become the observer. You start to see, oh wow, look at this thing pulling it's got the emotional hook set right now. And then you realize that the experience that has played out is because you're participating in that. You're giving your life force energy to that. If you decide in the face of the hook, of the trigger, that you're not doing that anymore, and you put your attention somewhere else, and you start to generate the feeling of compassion and also conviction of like, I'm done playing that game, and not from a place of get away from me and separation. It's from a place of, hey, I choose to not feed my energy into something that's not in alignment for me anymore. with this family member, with this intimate partner, whatever it might be. You're starting to get smart, intelligent with your energy. You're starting to recognize that you are an energetic being playing a game of energy. And you've got to recognize where that's going throughout the day. What's depleting it? What's expanding it? Being in environments and being around people who expand it or deplete it. Guarding the heart means that you are prioritizing feeling good, thinking beautiful, loving thoughts about yourself that give you good feelings, seeing life in a positive, optimized way. Not with rose-colored, well, I like to see life through rose-colored glasses, and oftentimes I will get that because that's what I'm looking for. You're not bypassing stuff. You're not lying to yourself. You're being honest. You're being honest, and you're withdrawing energy that was in a place that you don't want it to be, that's not serving you. This is how you claim your power back. This is how you rise up the elevator floors of consciousness, where you're out of the basement and you're out of that place where your emotions ruled over you, right? How many people are so destructive in their lives because they don't have control over their emotions? How many adults do we see out there that have the emotional capacity of a child? Like when that takes over, the person's gone and they're 4 years old again, having a tantrum. It's remarkable to see it when your awareness starts opening up, and it's remarkable to see it within yourself. And it's great because you're like, oh, that part of me is doing the tantrum thing, but now I know better, I have compassion for it, and I walk above the emotional waters. I take a breath, I recenter, and I know that I'm the creator of my experience, and I can generate the feelings that I choose to have. I can be abundant now before the money. I can be in love with myself before someone from the outside validates that. I can be the source of any of the things that I thought I was once lacking. Take that in. That was a bar. Like, take that in, please. If I had a rewind button on here, I would do it. Be the source of anything that you used to perceive yourself lacking. Why? Because that's what you're putting into your field. This is no longer some spiritual woo-woo thing. Science can measure this, your biometric field. This is what they do at Joe Dispenza events. This is how people have miracles. This is how they get out of their wheelchair for the first time in 15 years. This is how they go into remission of their cancer. This is how they end a 20-year depression. They leave behind the identity which carried a field of information at a certain level. They leave that behind and they become something completely new. This is the renewal of the heart and of the mind. When you take things to heart, how you feel about it is the most important thing, because that emotional energy is your frequency. And that is always being looked at by life, by God, by source. And then you're getting more of that reflected back to you. So I really hope that you stayed to the end and that this landed for you, because this is all about a change of heart, getting to the heart of the matter. Guarding your heart, not closing it off, guarding it in the sense of caring about how you feel for you. Any lasting change, my friends, it starts with the heart. That's what I wanted to share. I thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. And if you're ready, and if you're feeling like this touched your heart, let's work together. This is what I do. I help people to come into this level of mastery for themselves so that they can be following their path. Because when you do this, your path organically starts to blossom from within you. Your intuition opens up and starts guiding you. You feel powerful. Your whole field starts to change. And yes, can we do it ourselves? Sure. But if you work with someone who understands these things and has worked with a lot of other people and helped them to do this, that's acceleration, and that is demonstrating that this is the direction you're going right now. There's no more kicking the can down the road. This is you putting your energy into, I'm changing my story now. I'm changing the way that I feel now. So if you're feeling that, sign up in the link in the show notes. That would be the podcast in the description. And this is the time, my friends. This is a very powerful, beautiful time to be on the planet. I'm excited to be here. This is unlike anything we've ever seen or experienced before, and we get to do this together. So I will see you on the next video, and until then, be true, be you. Peace.